Great. I think we're live. Hi, everybody. I'm going to wait a few minutes, a few seconds, see if anyone comes on before I start talking to you. And if not, it's fine because I will record this and I'll put out the recording and we can talk that way too. Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, who we've never met, my name is Rebecca Gold, and I am the founder of Yogic Writing, which is a writing practice that uses the philosophies and the practices and the methodologies of yoga, meditation, and breath work to bring them into your writing, to get to the stories that are held deeply within that you want to tell. And that's been my my work in the last almost decade now. And I am really excited to share it with you. And I have been sharing it with some of you already for the last 4 or 5 years, doing retreats, yoga and meditation and writing retreats, and online classes and live classes, and all of that great stuff that we were able to do pre-COVID. Right? Yeah. So if you have any comments, by the way, while we're talking, just go ahead and put them in the comments and I will try to, any comments or questions, and I will try to answer them. So anyway, oh, hi, Danielle, how are you? Yeah. So anyway, it's a gorgeous day out today. I love this fall weather. I can pull out my scarves, which like all good yogis love, we love our scarves. Anyway, before COVID hit, before March, I had several yogic writing retreats on my calendar. And I taught a class called From Your Mat to Your Memoir. It was a 5-week course, and I was teaching that for the last couple of years. And we would begin the course by doing a yogic writing retreat. I would teach you the practice, teach you how to do this, how to incorporate this into your writing practice, and then we would go off for 5 weeks, and we would meet once a week and go through your stories and help you kind of, dip your foot into the water, learn how to do the practice, and how to excavate these stories, and how to silence your inner critic, and how to release your blocks and resistance and all that great stuff, which is what yogic writing does. So that was, it was great. It was a good life, of course. And anyway, and then COVID hit, and one by one, cancel, 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 cancel. All of that stuff had to be canceled. And I started doing, as many of you know, because you were doing them right along with me, I started doing some, daily writing challenges with you. I had the Corona Chronicles challenge going for a couple of months. With daily writing prompts and Zoom calls and get-togethers, and that was great. It was a wonderful way for me and for you, to process everything that has been going on and how our lives have changed. And a lot of great stories came out of that. In fact, a couple of them were even published. They wrote to me and said, this story was inspired by your Corona Chronicles, and now it's been published, which is always awesome to hear. I tell people that it took me 10 years and 6 months to write my memoir. And the 10 years was really all about resisting blocks, writing a little bit here and there, listening to my critics saying, what are you trying to do? You're a terrible writer. No one wants to hear your story. It's not good enough. Writing more a little bit here and there, talking to my therapist about why I wasn't writing. All of that took 10 years. And then I discovered this practice that I now call yogic writing. And when I discovered this practice and how, by writing in this way, I can remove resistance, remove the blocks, shut my inner critic up, and actually write true, authentic stories that came from within, that I just was really proud of. And so once I learned this practice, then it took me 6 months, because all of that other stuff was gone. So then I was able to, in 6 months, put my memoir together. It had a beginning, it had a middle, it had an end. It was a first draft. And it was not done then. It was a first draft. But any writer will tell you, any author will tell you, that the first draft is the most difficult to get to, because that's when it all comes out and you have it on paper, and then you can look at it and say, okay, what do I have here? What needs to be here? What can I remove? What's missing? All of that kind of stuff. But you need that first draft. And in fact, when I was teaching my 5-week course, the Mat to Memoir, which was really an introductory course, when I reread the evaluations and the comments, and everybody loved it, but the one thing they said was, now what? Lead me to the next part, because I want to write my book. I want to write my collection of life stories. I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave stories for my children, my grandchildren. I want them to know me, and I want me to know me, and I want this to be done. So how do I get there? And so I kept thinking about that and thinking about that. And then after the corona hit, and I was, doing all of these challenges with everybody, I said, you know what? I'm going to revive that program, and I'm going to see what I can do now, given these new set of circumstances, and how I can do this. So I did. And it is now a 6-month program. No more 5 weeks, because nobody can get to a first draft in 5 weeks, let's be honest. It is now a 6-month program. I have it divided up into 3 different sections. The first section I call, oops, sorry about that. The first section I call flow, and that is 1 month. The second phase I call breathe, and that is when you breathe life into your book, and that is 4 months. And then the third section, the third stage, I call balance, and that's when you balance what you have to see what still needs to come, what doesn't need to be there, and you balance it to make all of that content a book. So I've created this program for 6 months. And what we do is we meet once a month for 6 months, and we do a retreat. So the first one is October 23rd, and I know everybody's now going retreat. I thought you said you couldn't do retreats, so I'll explain. So the first one is October 23rd, and it's that weekend, Friday night, for like an hour and a half, or kind of a happy hour to get to know who's out, who's in, what's going on, what your intentions are, what your project is. Saturday from 10 to 4, and then Sunday from 10 to 4. Now, what that means is you are on a Zoom call with me and with the group, and there are only 6 of us. I forget to mention that. There's only 6 people in this group with me. And we get together all day Saturday, 10 to 4, and all day Sunday, 10 to 4. I teach you the practice. I teach you how to do yogic writing, and then we write. And then all of you are sitting there and you all write. And during that time on Saturday and Sunday, I pull 1 or 2 of you out, one at a time, and say, hey, I want to talk with you specifically. So I'll pull you out. There's something in Zoom called Zoom rooms. Maybe you know about this. And I'll pull you out into a private Zoom room, and you and I together will discuss in detail and very specifically what your plan is and how you're going to get there in these next 6 months. So that first weekend is really important, and it's really, it's juicy. So you learn the practice, you do some writing, and then you and I discuss what we're going to do in the next 6 months. Excuse me. After that, on Monday, this was Friday and Saturday and Sunday. And then on Monday, I send you off, or Sunday night, you go off. And then beginning Monday morning, October 26th, you hear from me every single day for 21 days. I send you an email every single day for 21 days. And that email has a yogic writing practice. And that email has a yogic writing practice and a prompt, and a writing prompt for 21 days. And that prompt is for you to take seriously and to write on that prompt for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I suggest minimum 10, or 10 is actually enough for the flow to begin. So I'm teaching you over those 21 days how to get into the flow. And that is, that's like the most exciting part of doing any creative project, whether it's painting or music or whatever, but to get into the flow. So that first 21 days, you are committed and you're working with me getting into that flow. At the end of those 21 days, you submit to me, email, you send me your work. You send me a month's worth of work, whether it's 20 pages or 30 pages or whatever it is. And you send it to me before the next month's retreat. So every month we're going to meet for this Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. And before we meet, you send me your work. And then I go over your work with you on that second retreat. And again, one-on-one, I pull you out of the Zoom and we say, okay, let's see what you've done. Let's see how that applies to your plan. What you might add, places where I think you might go deeper, places where I think you can pull that out. And I do this also, it's not just me. I have a writing partner. She's her name is Amy Coco. For those of you, you may or may not know her. Amy is a fabulous writer, and she writes a lot of humor, which is awesome because it's a good balance with what I write. I don't write a lot of humor. I write a lot of like kind of deep stuff, personal essay, and she writes a lot of humor. So the two of us really look at this with two different eyes, and we say, okay, how's this person going to use this? How can we help this person get either deeper or in some cases lighter? And how can we make this work for that person moving forward? So the next month comes, and because of Thanksgiving, we don't meet in November. Instead, we meet in December. And the next month comes, and you send me your work, and the same process. We meet all together on Zoom Friday night. We go through how's everyone doing, what's everyone up to. Saturday, we do a yogic writing practice together. We do some yoga, we do some meditation, we do some breath work, we do all of this stuff to get you in tune and energized into tapping into your koshas, which is the key behind a yogic writing practice. I'm not going to explain right now what the koshas are. I'm going to maybe I'll do a webinar on that separately because that's a whole different thing. But it is the backbone of yogic writing. And when I say we do yoga, I'm not saying, okay, everybody, let's stand on our heads. No, I don't even stand on my head. I mean, that's not part of yoga that I'm talking about. Yoga is so much more than just, a pose. That's not what I'm talking about. And when the yoga that we will be doing is gentle for one. A lot of it is just sitting in your chair. I mean, not all of it is even on a mat. It is some gentle yoga. It is specific poses that tap into areas in your body where trauma or where stories are actually held. I know this sounds woo-woo and like, what is she talking about? But it's true. There are areas in your body, like your hips and your shoulders. There are areas in your body where you don't even know it, but you're holding stories. And there's things you can do with your breath and with certain meditations and with certain mantras that can open this up. And your memory, which maybe you didn't even remember some of these stories, will come out. Your memory will be reignited and you'll be able to tap into that. It's cool stuff. It's fun. So don't worry when I say we're going to do yoga. Don't think, oh, I'm going to spend a whole weekend doing yoga. That's not what it is. And who says, oh, I'm going to do yoga anyway? Yoga is awesome. But anyway, that's the deal. So Friday night, Saturday, we do a yoga practice together, a yogic practice together, maybe meditation, breath work, whatever. We go off and write. And then again, Amy and I will be pulling you out one by one into a separate Zoom room and go over your work and make sure you're staying on your plan. During the month, you also will hear from me. You also will get one-on-one coaching calls. You will get one-on-one coaching calls during the month, just to checking in. How's it going? Accountability. Before, when I said it took me 10 years and 6 months to write my memoir, I hired a coach when I knew how to write. When I tapped into this yogic writing process and I began to write, I knew I needed somebody to be accountable to. Um, some people can do it on their own, and if you can, God love you, but that's not me. I need somebody that says, okay, you were going to do this. Where is it? Like a deadline. I'm really deadline oriented. Hi, Kim. Hi, Dana. Glad you popped on. Kim, this is the sweater you gave me. Anyway, so that is the process. So during the month, you hear from me. You send me your work before the next retreat. We go over your work during the retreat, and this retreat is your time, Friday night, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, to actually write, to do some really good, deep writing. And even during that retreat, you're going to find yourself connecting with the other students. I only take 6 people, by the way, only 6. And in fact, I already have 2 people signed up, so I only have 4 more spots. So if this sounds like something that is of interest to you, if it sounds like you want to do this, then talk to me. Then, we'll call me, or you can go to my website and sign up, or, whatever. This is we can get there. But anyway, what I was trying to say is there's only 6 spots. It is a very intimate, very one-on-one small group program. And the other thing I wanted to mention also is these weekend retreats that I'm talking about, where you're in your home with the door closed in front of your Zoom and doing your writing, doing your yogic practices, and me saying, okay, Kim, meet me in this room and I'll pull you out and we'll go over your stuff. During that weekend, if you want to go somewhere else, if you don't want to be in your home, if you want to go to a Airbnb or to a B&B or to whatever, then that's cool. Then you can do that. Unfortunately, we can't do it all together. And that brings me to my next point. When I first um, came up with this idea to do this 6-month retreat writing program, I have a friend of mine who is in Cape Cod who just bought and is running a beautiful bed and breakfast in Cape Cod. And she and I talked about this, and I said, I want to meet here. I want the group to meet here because it's a fabulous place. There's 2 separate like living rooms to hang out in. The rooms are gorgeous. There's a pool. Like the whole thing was just spectacular. But then, of course, COVID swept in and destroyed that plan. However, we talked a few days ago, and she said, Rebecca, if anyone still wants to come and rent the room during the weekend retreats, during these weekends that we have booked for you, I will give them a deep discounted price. And this is a gorgeous B&B in Cape Cod, in Harwich, Massachusetts. I'm going to give you the name of that right now before I forget. So if that's something you can do and want to do and are close enough to do it, then that is an option for you to spend your weekend. Let me put that right there. Okay, her name is Sharon. She's the innkeeper, and it's called the Platinum Pebble Boutique Inn. And the weekends, let me just tell you right now what these dates are that I'm talking about. Here's the weekends, the dates. Yeah. So if you want to do that, just call Sharon and say, hey, I'm going to be in Rebecca's program. And she knows obviously all about it. And she'll give you the discounted rates to stay there each weekend or some of the weekends. It doesn't have to be all. The other thing she's doing, which is even, she's just wonderful. The other thing she's doing is, hey, if somebody wants to come for the day and not spend the night and just spend the day there to be away from their home, again, they'll be on their Zoom, they'll be on their little computer, but they can sit in one of the beautiful sitting areas that is available at the B&B. Sorry, you can pay a daily rate, and I think she said it was $25. So check with her. But there's just a very low daily rate that you can do if you're close enough, and you can drive there and spend the day and do you have your little mini retreat there during the day. But again, the idea is that you're in front of this Zoom, you're with me and the 5 other people, 6 people in total, and we are writing, we are yogiking. I just made that word up. And we are going over your work every month and making sure you are staying on target. Planning is huge, and making sure every month we say, okay, you were going to do this, let's revise your outline, or let's stick to your outline, or let's go over your writing and see places where maybe you need to do this, that, or the other thing. So that's the deal. It's flow, learning the flow, then it's breathing the life into your book, and then it's balance, putting it all together in 6 months. You don't have to go through that 10-year stuff that I went through, 10 years of misery. You don't have to go through that. You can just fast track. I will fast track you to the 6 month. And from the 6 months, from the beginning of the end of October, our first weekend together, October 23rd, all the way through April 23rd. And then at the end, I didn't mention this too, but at the end, when we say bye-bye at that last retreat, when we share with each other what we've done, when you and I get together again and say, okay, is this your draft? What's missing? Blah, blah, blah. You still have 1 more month to get your work to me and to go through a final review of your work and celebrate because it's a big deal. And it's an exciting thing when you actually see the stack of papers in front of you, if you print them out, and you see what you can do with accountability, with commitment, with time, and more than anything, with a process that I'm telling you works. And this process will work for you. And that's my spiel. So you are going to be getting an email or a couple of emails about it this week. I'll be sending out some emails with, more details. Please feel free to call me if you have any questions. I'm trying to see where the link is to call me. Oh, shoot, I don't have it handy. But anyway, I think you know my, I'm going to write my email here, writing.com. And that is my, let me give you the link to the page on my website. And that's there. I'm going to be updating that with some more details. Sharon and I just finalized the thing with her offer too that we're going to extend to you, and talk a little bit more about the editing process and about all of that, and what we're going to be able to provide for you as far as that goes. So that's the deal. I hope to see some of you. Again, I only have 4 spots left. And if you want one, then contact me real soon. In October 23rd, we will begin From Your Mat to Your Memoir. And I'm super excited about it. And I hope to see some of you there. Okay. Thanks for joining, guys. And for those of you who listen to the recording, just send me an email and I can answer any questions for you. Or be on the lookout for my emails too. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to turn this off. Sorry. Here it is. Bye-bye.